Greetings and salutations, guys. Welcome back to Stoffel Presents Interviews. This week we've got a very, very special interview. I hope you appreciate it because it's taken me bloody weeks to get it sorted. um, we have the one and only Emiliano from Hammers and Ravens. Do you want to say hello, sir?
Hi guys. Yeah, like it took us like I think 1 month at least to organize
It's
this
about
this
this,
meeting. Like
yeah.
I was pretending to be a sort of VIP. Like it kind of worked. Like at least in pretending it was effective. But finally we managed it.
So I've met you a fair few years ago now. It's going to be nearly 10 years ago now, I think. 20,
Oh no, holy shit! Like is it
2016.
no? Yeah, maybe
2016.
nine. Could I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but I think 2000. No, I think around 2017 probably when we met the first time in Birmingham, and you were the first person to ask for an interview with us in Birmingham, and we were fucking excited because it was our first event.
And that,
And
that was with Empire in Ruins, wasn't it?
exactly, yeah, yeah. And we had finally like grabbed our boats and decided, okay, let's go to this event. Me and Yannis, we had organized everything, flew there, like super excited because like first event, like you don't know what to expect or anything. And then the first email that we got for an interview, Yannis said, "Oh, there is this guy that wants to interview us." Like, okay, holy shit, who's this one? And then we had our first interview with you, and you were basically like our chaperone in introducing us to the event. So like that was
Yeah,
really
actually,
nice.
I remember that first interview. That was a fun interview. I think did we have two takes at the beginning because of nerves? I think. Um, but I remember the network event afterwards more.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah,
party
definitely.
afterwards was memorable.
And I think like even better, like the next GX in London, that one was much cooler because like there was like a lot of free beer after,
Yeah.
and like of course like that was really
I mean, I've got
enjoyable.
I've
Like,
got a picture from that next one store somewhere of me. I've got a rum and coke in each hand and two rum and coke in each pocket on my trench coat. I just stuck. So yeah, let's say we met when you made Hammer. Yeah, so your studio is called Hammer and Ravens,
yes,
and we met when you made Empire in Ruins, which was sort of tower defense game.
it was like my most beautiful mistake ever, and I love it. Like, and I will love it forever. It was a mix of a forex strategy and tower defense, and with a lot of story and dialogues. And I still don't know what happened in my brain that I decided, okay, this is a good idea for a genre. Uh, I loved it. Like I love that game. Like I'm really happy with that game, but it was not like the game that made the most sense to try and start a career as a developer of video games. But
Every genre
nevertheless,
needs a madman.
I mean, it did introduce me to the career in one way or another, and it didn't even do that bad. It did well enough that we managed to stay afloat long enough to move on to our next project, and it still has like I think like mostly positive reviews, so it never went to negative, and that was like a big plus. Um, it was a huge amount of work. I changed most of the teams since then because like I was the only programmer, designer, and everything, and then I had like 5 or 6 artists, and that was like the most unbalanced team ever. But it was not their fault; it was my fault for putting it together like that
No,
somehow.
but it made a wonderful game, and then of course, like I've just realised now because I never realised it was your first game. It's even more impressive to have Doug Cockle narrating it.
Yes, exactly. And that introduction video with Doug Cockle is like one of the things that I love the most. And then my father wrote the soundtrack, and he played the bagpipe in the soundtrack. And some friends from my school they recorded the metal parts, like so. It's a folk metal soundtrack, and I love the process. I love the result. I love everything. It was just not that commercial. That was the only weakness, I think.
So, but saying that, I don't think that you haven't really gone commercial with your upcoming game either, have you? That's a bit of a niche subject again.
This time, surprisingly enough, it was planned to be commercial. It was really like I think I sat. I don't even know when it started, like the idea of the new game, but I sat there and I thought, okay, I cannot screw up again. Like I need. I don't have to make at all cost a game that makes millions, but I need to make a game that can make me a living at least. Otherwise, it makes no sense to continue like the career. And then I started really thinking on the genre, of the subject, of the visuals, of the mood, of the type of loops that I wanted in. And I really, it has a lot more things than that. And then later we can talk about it. But like, I really tried to think of a game that I could pitch to publisher. And
Hmm.
at that time, I was doing scouting for a Chinese publisher in Europe, and I was listening to a lot of pitches, and most of these pitches were tremendous, and they were awful. Like I love these people, they were trying, but like, and I didn't even have such a huge experience myself, but I started seeing, holy shit, but how can you expect to pitch something like that and expect to get some money from someone to make that? And they were lovely, like they were really
Oh,
lovely
great
people,
people, just shit
but like
ideas.
and bad implementations, bad ideas, bad everything. And so I tried to really use that part of experience as well, together with what we went through. Because also in Pirates and Ruiz, we tried to pitch it to some publishers, and of course, like they thought exactly the same that I thought about like these other people. Probably we even got close to get one publisher, and then they heard the video with all the swearing, and they had almost said yes. They said no, we're sorry, like this doesn't fit our publishing
Image.
line. Okay, like that, I can understand.
Oh, fuck you.
And yeah, like, okay, of course. And then I tried to put all this together to try to make a game that could be interesting for publisher and for people. And even though I kind of find a niche of, at least regarding the settings, it was a niche that I kind of tried to study the niche, let's say, because craft beer or beer is a topic that is always like popular enough. Like
Mhm.
a lot of people, like not just gamers, but everyone like likes beer. And then monastery beer, like a lot of people in Europe know about monastery beer, and it's something known but not that explored. So it, and then we wanted like to have like this really serious settings that is a monastery, that is like I think of like the name of the rose, like Umberto Eco's, like if I think of a monastery originally, so something really dark, grim. And then we
Mhm.
want to make it cute. And so with Francesco, the lead artist, we really work a lot in trying to find like this contrast, but that would fit together with a bit of a like a grim monastery, but really cute, lovely monks getting drunk, smiling, doing silly stuff in pixel art. And pixel art is something that I was always jealous of pixel art when I was working on Empires in Ruins, because every time I posted something that my artist had taken 20 hours to work on, I got like 5 likes. And then like someone farted in pixel art and they got like 200 likes. And I hated that. And I wanted to get the same. And so I thought, I want to make a game in pixel art. And then at that point, Twitter changed the algorithms, and not even pixel art got anymore like the likes that it got before. But still, it was like something that people like on the first, at a first glance. Like as soon as they saw the game, even the first sketches that were kind of similar to the actual game already, everyone liked it. And then I thought, okay, like with Empires in Ruins, everyone was a bit skeptical.
Mhm.
So that means that here we are already like kind of breaking the first barrier, and then at least the first impact is good with this game. And then we found a publisher in like really really short time. Like I think we took part in one of those Twitter things like pitch a game, like you put an hashtag and you write pitch a game and something happens. And a few publishers contact us like right away, like really in 2 days,
Almost
like
instant.
after.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
then we started talking with a few of them. We had a few calls. We found the one that we found that would be more fitting, and we liked the most. And then we got started. Like
See, I
easy,
love the
easy as that compared to
yeah.
the past.
It's that easy. Yeah, I love the fact you went from trying to get a publisher, you couldn't get one for Empire in Ruins, and then you had to choose one for
Yes,
Ale
yes,
Abbey.
yes, yes. Yeah, that was like pretty like exciting as an effect. Like I thought, okay, maybe this time we are on the right path.
Yeah, I mean that's quite it's quite affirming when you've got a couple of publishers and you have to pick which one you're going
Yes.
with. So we've let's go back. So we're talking like Ale Abbey. I noticed this time round, like with Empire in Ruins, I found out about it thanks to our lovely friends over at Troglobites who make Hyperparasite. They told me about you there. Um, but I've noticed this time you've been a lot more open with development on social media. You saw like being adding updates, adding little tweaks
Yeah,
here and there.
it was possible because we had the budget. So with the budget, we had like the people to be regular in our production. Like we didn't have like during In Paris in Ruins, a lot of time I had to stop development for like 2 months and take some freelancing gig.
Hmm.
And then I had to restart, and then I was doing everything by myself, like beside the art. So like I was doing the writing, the design, the program, all the programming was done by me, like the UX design, the UI design. So I was really like overwhelmed by everything. I was making some blog posts now and then, but I mean, like whenever I had time, and I didn't have that much. This time, for example, Yannis started from week 1, and I think right now we are on week. I can tell you, I can. Oh, I should like it. That's true. This is week 157 of the project
Wow.
because every Friday we have a blog post
Hmm.
with 4 entries, 3 about the development and 1 about beer.
Yep.
And we managed to be consistent. I think 1 week we didn't publish, maybe we were in holiday or something like that, but like every week, like we kept on pushing out, and because that's necessary, that's fun, that's interesting, and that's necessary. It
Yeah,
on
it builds that
IndieDB.
community, it builds that interest.
Exactly, it's slow, it's very slow. I mean, like you don't have to expect it to be like whoa. You at sometimes you don't even really see the effect, but on the long, if you look at it like after a while, and you look at it on like for the big picture, then you see that it's also part of building. And on IndieDB, where we have our blog, we almost don't get any comment, any like, or anything. It's like feels dead.
Hmm.
But then we spoke with a lot of people, and they said, "Ah, yeah, we are reading your blog." So that means that people are really reading it. Like so, it's not like like that completely. Like someone checks it out, and during the demo, we released the demo in October, and then we had the release in early access now in February. Really, a lot of people, even journalists, mentioned the blog. So apparently, maybe they just saw it like at that
Hmm.
moment, and they said,
Yeah.
"Okay, oh yeah, I was following it." But in general, like it was like somehow efficient. Like we're really happy that we did it.
Because I've seen throughout the progress and the updates that like there's been a lot of posts about brewing your own beer and so what came first? Was it your hobby for brewing or was it
Brewing.
the game?
No, brewing. Like I started like several years ago. I have like a wheat beer, a Belgian wheat beer brew in there in the corner of my room, and it just now, like since a couple of days, stopped smelling like feet. Like so, kind of got better. But I'm brewing. I think it's like I got really hardcore with brewing with the first lockdown.
Yeah.
At that point, I really upped my game, and like I turned into a brewing machine. I think the first lockdown, beside like the all the bread bacon, everything, I think I brewed like 120 liters in 2 months. Like really, I
Wow.
start like I couldn't stop like, and because
It-
I have a small setup with a pot and everything, but I can do like a 10 to 12 liters per batch. So
Mhm.
it means that every Sunday I was brewing a new batch, like every Sunday regularly. But I had already started like much before with like the extract brewing, and now I keep on doing it like regularly, like every year at least 8 to 10 batches, several different beers. I have my recipes that are like they're my staple, and I brew them every year. Then there are like always some experiments. There are like some new ones, some variations of the ones that I already made, and that accompanies me like during the whole development of the game as well. So
So is there going to be a special promotional brew for Ale Abbey's release?
actually, I cannot sell them like so like, but we had one made by the publisher, but I got it all for myself. Basically, they didn't make like that many, and I have it in the cellar. It's like one of these like a very niche, very nice, but very niche, like this. It's called cognac barrel aged sour beer. So it's not really usable for promotion because it's like if you are not a beer connoisseur, you would think that it's a spoiled beer probably.
Right. Okay, I see.
So I keep it in the, like, luckily it's like very strong, it's like 9%, and it's one of these beer that can age for 10 years. So I have them in my cellar. Every time I want one, just go downstairs, I pick it up, and I have it like so.
Lovely. But yeah, I want to move on to the game a bit now. So you mentioned I've been playing it in early access and I'm loving it. I've got the little access you gave me, and it is quite nice. It's sort of the monastery. I like you have to build it up as you go along. You don't just start with a monastery. You have to kind of expand it and move out bit by bit. But then contrasting that, like you mentioned earlier, that these little pixel art, cute little monks. Like I love the
They are cute.
animation and the drawing of the monks. It looks they're so cute and fun.
We have
Um,
a, like Raimo, our pixel artist, Estonian. He is like a machine with the pixel. Like it really like if you think about it, we have like I think 17 monks between monks and nuns,
mhm,
and each of them has 24 animations. And it's true that some of them they share similar body shapes and similar animations,
mhm,
but then each one of them needs to be crafted manually anyway.
yeah,
And I told him like specifically, but like I didn't even need it to hear from me because it's like he spontaneously. So he grew up also with like pixel art a la Monkey Island. So like this kind of like bit of silliness is always pleasant in this pixel art.
yeah.
And then he was adding silly moves all over the place. Like, and when if you have like cute little drunk monks, the opportunity for silliness they are like
It's,
potentially endless. Like
yeah,
it's
I'm really enjoying the game because it's got like I say it's got this kind of cute aesthetic to it with the monks, but it kind of belies that it's a really deep, intelligent system behind it for brewing beer.
and I have to thank the publisher for forcing me to keep it simple. I think together because our publisher is Shiro Games, Shiro Unlimited, but they are first a developer, and then a publisher.
Mhm,
So they have quite an experience in development, and they they gave a huge contribution in keeping the game accessible and pop, meaning that they managed to convince me to pull back on the depth of some systems. I already had in mind that I wanted a simple game, but I still have like a nerdy brain. So
mhm,
like I love like a bit more complexity sometimes. But in here we really found this balance that I could put my brewing experience and the design that I wanted for brewing and for the recipe creation, but at the same time we simplified it several times in a way that it was easy for everyone to play somehow. And then with the demo, we managed to smoothen a bit like the rough edges of the UX in the recipe creation. And during the early access release, almost nobody complained that they had problem in approaching the game. Like even the tutorial, somehow everyone hates tutorials, but
mhm.
we knew that we needed a tutorial
Yeah,
in the game.
it was
And
necessary.
our first tutorial was really strict tutorial, like the ugly kind that forces you to do only that action at that exact
Mhm,
moment. And then we said, okay, they fucked it. We don't want anything like that. Like let's give some instruction to the player. We put like these tasks with a
mhm,
bit of like a task list on the side, but that they don't look like a tutorial. They look more like something to do. And then if the player has the option active, we add some more instructions on the side. They can ignore them, but they should still be able to complete the task even if they ignore the test.
mhm.
And it worked. Like surprisingly enough, it worked, and the game was approachable. And people get in expecting a very simple game, they get something more deep, but at the same time it's approachable enough that they stay. So that kind of worked. Like I'm still surprised that like this kind of like with Empires in Ruins I had like the exact opposite effect. Like people got in expecting a complex game and got like a crap lot of complexity. They got like a UX that punched you in the face and that, like I mean like Empires in Ruins was a game that was playing against you in every sense.
Yeah,
uh Ale Abbey is a game thought and luckily achieved that has to be like easy to onboard, easy to approach, very almost casual. Like I mean, like a lot of people call it like a casual game, and it kind of is like
yeah. I
if
suppose.
you think about it, there is some depth in some parts, but like you can still play without being like too much like a tycoon nerd, probably.
Yeah, I suppose there is. Yeah, there's that kind of casualness to it, but I think one of the bits I like, and again, probably the nerdy brain you keep mentioning, is I quite like when you get these kind of crafting games. You get your recipe, you get your ingredients, and then you get your products. I quite like there's an extra step in between here where you can tweak the ingredients and you see the green, red, and yellow moving up and down. And you see how different you put a bit more hops in, and it'll affect the taste here. Or and you can kind of. I think I spent 20 minutes on one brew, just making it absolutely right. Well, that's gone down right. So if I put two of these in, that's knocked that down. So if I take that off, that should come. And I'm just sort of watching it getting it all perfect greens across the board. Um,
Yes.
which was absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
I
like
wanted to
the
achieve that.
fun
I have to do
experience.
that. Yeah.
And the recipe part is inspired by the software that I use to make a recipe for the brewing at home. It's called Beersmith, and that is of course like a billion times more complex. But it also has like four color bars. I think it's one of the original gravity and one for the color. Like it's similar, but of course it's like much different. And to 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 let you understand how nerdy I am about the beer topic, like when I want to relax a bit, one of the things that I do is opening the software and maybe googling a bit and then making a recipe for a style that I never made a recipe for, because I really enjoy making beer recipes. Like it's the part that I enjoy the most. Like if someone could brew them for me and I could
That'd be
only like,
great.
that would be even more fun. Like because I love also the brewing part, but just like spending time there. Okay, like if I put like this, I have like this thing that you see back there is full of beer books. Like
Yeah.
there are also some board games, but everything else is like I have like 50 or 60 beer books. And I love to read these kind of like super nerdy detail, like how such a malt impacts the flavor, like how many hops, how many minutes shall the hops boil, and in the game, like I couldn't put like this level of detail, but I wanted to put like the same feeling.
Mhm.
And what I really wanted to put in the game, and it kind of worked, but not as much as I wanted, was the excitement that as a home brewer you have when you finally brew the beer and you wait for the result. And it's a jump in the dark. Like even I still at this point I have some experience, and I more or less know most of the causes for problems, for success, for anything. But at the same time, there is always like a huge incognita about what will happen when your brew enters the fermenter and when it exits the fermenter.
Yeah.
Everything can happen in between. Like it can enter the fermenter that is delicious, then the temperature was too high in the room, or there was not enough yeast, or there was an infection, or there was like the too many hops that clash with the, like everything can happen. And I wanted to give the player like this exciting wait for the result. And I think in the game it's partly there, but then the game became a bit more about mass production of beer. Originally, I thought the game like more a bit cozier, a bit more focused on every single brew that you made. But it forced me to go like too much in detail with the brewing. Uh, it was difficult to balance it. Like it was really, it was difficult to make it fun. It was going to be fun for beer people, but I think for non-beer people, so much focusing on a single brew was like difficult. And instead, like this way, it's more familiar to anyone, like produce, sell, earn. Like I mean, like this kind of loop. And so I had to lighten up the brewing and reinforce a bit the commercial part of the game.
But I think you found a nice balance there with that though, because like I was saying, like you can spend. I spent 20 minutes trying to get it perfect, and you can do that, but you don't have to do it.
Yeah, no.
You can have it like I don't think the quality meant much. It didn't really warrant doing because it was right at the beginning as well, so the ingredients weren't the best, and so
But
yeah,
later on in the game, I don't know if you reach the point in which you unlock the special traits, because my idea was the green is the highest quality. So when you get your four virtues of the beer in the green, you have the highest quality, but the lowest chance of special traits. And once you unlock them, if you deviate a bit from the green, so if you go in the yellow, even in the red, but the yellow is like the best compromise, then you risk a bit more the quality, but you have a higher chance of getting something special.
hmm
And that was a bit like the game that I wanted, like the little experiment that I wanted to push in the player, like not just the puzzle all green, but first learn to do it all green. So like familiarize with how to obtain the best green, and then the game unlocks the opportunity to don't do all green, but like do all creative, like somehow.
Yeah, you can get that creativity with it as well, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. It's a very relaxing game. Um, Apart from infections, they do my head in.
Yeah,
Um,
but like they really like, the chance for infection really drops a lot like later in the game. Like you have some research that lowers it. You have like some the monks improving skills, they lower it, so you have like 1 or 2%. It becomes
yeah, I
like
mean,
very manageable.
I was punishing monks at the beginning. I
Yeah.
was like, one monk infected a batch 3 times in a row. So I made a point of he's on cleaning duty for the next month. Like, I'm just moving you about. Like I know his stats are better over here. I don't care. He's being punished. He's cleaning up. That's his duty now. It was really. It is. It's casual. I say it's that kind of type of game, but it's quite difficult at beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. There's quite. It's not a steep learning curve. Is the wrong way to do it, but there is a learning curve to it.
I think the problem in the beginning is like, but it's really hard to solve. Is like the economy. Like I cannot allow the player to make too much money,
Hmm.
and because otherwise, like I unbalance the game, and it's and then there are like these tasks that you get from the bishop, and a few people forget about brewing and focus on the tasks, even though you tell them like I try to put as many warning as possible, but like people like they see these tasks, they think, oh, a new task, like I have to do it right away. And the task, they also give you some reward, but meanwhile your economy is not thriving because you are not brewing. The moment that people understand that they also have to keep on brewing while they do all the rest, at that point they stop having problems. That
Hmm.
is like I think that's the tipping point for most people with a difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I think the difficulty I got was I just kept getting infections and I didn't understand why. Um, but then, like, just sitting looking at the stats, looking at the monks, it was like, I didn't see that bit. I must have missed that earlier or something. And then
Yeah, yeah.
it just kind of clicked. I kind of got into this thing of I only send good beer to town. So if I end up making a poor quality beer, that goes into the cellar for my monks to drink.
Yeah,
That's
punishment.
Yeah, it's punishment. Like you made it, you drink it. I don't think I have happy monks. I think they hate me.
I was thinking of adding like, but it's too much work to add the thing that if the monks they drink the infected beer, they could get sick. But then we thought about the amount of animations that we need to just add that little thing, and we thought, okay, now for now we don't do it.
Yeah, I was a bit worried. I was looking at it going, they're all gonna get sick. I'm gonna kill my monks, and my monastery is dead. And then I was quite happy to see they didn't.
Yeah, no, they just get very drunk, like.
Yeah, but it's a very good steady progression as well in there. It's not you don't feel you progress too quickly, but then also you don't feel like you're stuck in a loop of making beer to make money, make beer to make money, and waiting for the next step of the game to come along. You seem to progress at a decent pace.
I think up to a point, yes. Then that's what we are taking care of right now. Around 10, 13 hours, the content in early access starts to get a bit too scarce, too
Hmm.
sparse, and then it starts to get repetitive. So like that's what we are addressing right now. Like I think the first 10 hours they go really well. Like it was like we had like paid QA that was testing the game. We had like a lot of beta tester, like, and one way or another we found a way to balance out like this progression, and we were quite happy. But then after a point, now it needs more. It needs changes because it's not enough anymore. This progression here, the game developed like it gets wider. Like I mean, it gets larger. You get more villages. You produce more beer. You produce more everything, and you need a lot more stuff to do. Like and you need like there are so many things that we are like planning for the design right now to how to address that. Like there is some automation of existing tasks because at some point it becomes boring to keep on like brewing the same light ale and sending it to the same village. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's fun for a while, but I get that it can't be fun forever. So we are thinking, how can we automate that? Probably we will have like a desk that you can place in the brewery room. You will have to assign a brewmaster to the room, and you will be able to make maybe like a brewing plan or
Hmm.
something like in which you can schedule. I don't know, like the next 10 beers and you don't have to take care of them. And but there's a but. Then you need to give something else the player, something else to do to the player.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course, like there, you maybe you remove like 30% of the playing time from that action, and then you have to put it somewhere else. And so we are like trying to address like that at the same time. So we need like there will be the ale competitions that we are working on uh, right now. Like the quality, yeah, it matters for the sales, but it matters like it's kind of secondary. Like it's more like about mass production. But what if we have like some events like where you need to really focus on which beer you're brewing and the quality of the beer and how well it sticks to the style, and you get rewarded with unique stuff for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are adding a competition in which there is a jury with a rise in the palette with a vote for your beer. You get a review for your beer, so you get the comments, and I'm trying to make these comments very organic. So like really analyzing like which kind of recipe you made and how it fits the competition requirements, and then the player will not get anything complex, will not get any number out of it. But reading the comments, most of people will have to think, shit, the game really understood which beer I made. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the game is not stupid. The game is like looking at me and judging me. And
Um,
so all of this stuff we are trying to do now, like to
so it sounds like you've got a lot still to do. Do you have an idea for launch yet, or how long early access
we
is
have
going to
like
be?
we never have an idea. Like it's not gonna be too long. At first we said 4 to 10 months. Now we said at least 6 to 10 months. Uh, we don't know. Like it doesn't have to be like in any case, it's not going to be longer than 1 year, like the early access. So it's not going to be like I can guarantee that it's not going to be one of those games forever in early access
Mm-hmm.
because it's not a game that it makes sense. Like it's not like a battle game or something that you can completely replay every time a completely a new like or like a multiplayer game. It's a game that you can replay a few times. You can play in different ways, but it needs to be finished at some point. Like,
Yeah.
and then at that point we can work on DLC. We can work on something to make mead. We can make cider. We can even distill in the cellar of the monastery. We can consider cheese making. We can consider everything, but first it needs to be like a yummy, massive, clean and solid and robust 1.0 done and finished.
So I was about to ask, like, will the launch edition move into like spirits and ciders, or is it just
Yes,
going to
like
be
I
ale?
mean,
But yeah, that's
everything that I enjoy doing is going to happen in the game. So like, I mean, if I can put my personal experience into translate like I translated the homebrewing part, I can translate it a bit into the game mechanics. I'm happy to do it. Like,
yeah. So what's been? Because it sounds like there's quite some complex bits in here. So what's been the easiest part of development on Ale Abbey?
drinking. Probably tasting styles before putting it in the game like that.
The
That
the
might have
the
been like
research.
yeah, the research. uh, easy part, the art part. Like the art, because I'm really blessed with Francesco and Raimo. That Francesco is like the lead artist, art director, and he makes the illustration or the high resolution, like the UIs or like the big book, that stuff. And Raimo is like the pixel machine, and like he makes like the whole scene. And then Francesco is helping him with some architectural fixes or something. So the art is being really easy because first of all I do it myself, so that's one good reason to be easy. But aside from a few moment where we had to take some weird decision, I don't know, like the shape of the floors gave us some thinking to do, or like the shape of the roofs of the walls, the external walls. Like there were some experiments that we had to make, but like art is very straightforward. Like they are like I just tell them what we need and we just get it done, and that's and it always. I think it's 90% of the time right on the first try. So
That's nice. That's good. So then, coming off of that question, what caused the most hangovers? What gave you the biggest
uh,
hangover?
you mean is beer style or feature of the game?
But what part of development was the hardest?
I think economy balancing. The economy balancing was like it didn't take forever. Oh no 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 no! Stop. Like UI
UI.
design. Like because I had to make the UI myself. Like I was dreaming of getting a UX or UI artist, but they are expensive. They are hard to find, and uh, and so like that. These two things already make them like unachievable. And so I had to become like a UX designer myself, UI designer myself. Francesco, the lead artist, had some experience. He helped me a bit, but there are the publisher artists. They helped us a bit, but there are some UIs that were remade like 4 times. I think
Wow.
the brewing at least was remade at least 4 times, but completely remade. Like the first version had nothing to do with the actual one, and the same the recipe. I think in the first recipe UI, you even had shelves with bags of ingredients behind the book. So like, and right now it's everything on the book, and but we went through endless iterations of that stuff. Like, so UI, yes, UI has been the pain. Right now we tamed it. I don't even fear it anymore. I'm even kind of enjoyed. Like right now I'm making the UI for the A competitions, and everyone on the first draft, even the publisher guys, they said it doesn't look bad. Oh, holy shit! Like really?
Yeah. Oh wow.
But
So after Ale Abbey's released, you're gonna start your new career as a UI UX developer.
never ever. No, but like I don't hate it anymore. Like it's really like it's something that I used to hate a lot. Now it's okay. Like it can be even fun. Like, and the way I'm designing, I think it changed a lot the way I design, not just like design UI, but the way I design game design is that I realize that if I cannot think, or if I think that I don't have the skills to make a UI functional to a feature, I don't have to add that feature. So my design is really UI driven a lot now, even like even the feature, because I we suffer too much for mechanics that I wanted to have in, but I never thought how the UI could be, and it never, none of the attempts that we made it work. Like, so we ditched entire UIs, and I think this is really changing me a lot. Like, so UX design is helping me becoming probably a better game designer, I think.
Oh, that's good. He's always learning, always adapting.
Yes.
Uh, And how I forgot. I got play something else in my head, then I forgot what it was now. How yeah. So how long has it taken you to get from concept to early access?
3 years.
3 years. That's some
because
solid work.
because it was I think around 3 to 6 months for the first demo that we had to pitch to the publishers, and then we ditched it completely because it was coded for speed, not for being
For
evolved further.
quality,
So
yeah.
it was like the ugliest code I ever written, but it was really fast to do it. And then we started developing the game in May 2022. So it's, yeah,
three
the to the
years,
release
yeah.
was around like 3 years in total, including the demo.
Right. And so you got about what, a year, 10 months left for launch. So it's a solid
Yeah,
4 year on the game. And how big a team have you got working on it?
we are 8 people. We are 4 programmers, even though I don't even count myself as a programmer anymore because I really do little programming because I have too many other things to do. But we have a good programming power now. Like with 4 programmers, you can really do a lot of like, because this game, like I said, like graphics are easy, design I can handle it. It needs programming power because it needs to be really solid. It's a system that is alive all the time, and usually whenever you see the review for tycoon games made by indie developers, like the biggest problem is bugs,
Yeah.
and I hate bugs. Like, and I really like I am a bit picky about this kind of things, and we wanted like a robust game, and we managed it. Like, I mean, like we are really happy with the level of stability of the game. And but you can only do it if you have a lot of programmers. There is not a way around, and good programmers, of course. Like so,
Yeah.
and then we have like 2 artists. We have Yannis that is doing writing and is doing PR and is doing everything that is needed at the moment. And then we have we didn't talk about the music.
Yes.
Do you know we have the VIP for the music?
Who do you have for the music?
Yeah, we have Clint Bajakian. That is like the guy that made most of the LucasArts soundtracks. So like that was like one of our biggest achievement. Like to get Clint on the project was like holy shit. Like, and
How do you achieve this? Because you've got Clint on this one, you've got Doug Cockle on the last one.
you try, and
You shoot your
now and
shot.
then it works. Yeah, exactly. Like we thought, why not? Let's try it. And Yannis had the first call with him, and it turned out he was a home brewer when he was young.
Oh,
So
there we go.
easy win. And he is super super friendly. Like he's one of the coolest guy I ever worked with. Like in the industry, like a super humble, like super like skill, like beyond like beyond imaginable for us. And he was really like amused by the idea. He speaks a bit of Italian because he's often in Italy, so like he liked the idea to speak with me in Italian now and then. And then he said yes, and then we did it.
That's amazing. That's because the music is really good in that. I do love the music in it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, like, and he made also all the sound design, and we learned so much from the techniques that he's using, and we will never be able to go back to a normal sound designer after Clint
That's
because
it's
like
ruined them for you.
we are so spoiled right now. Like it's really like
Oh, see, I remember the only experience I had with sound design was another friend had an indie game release, and we were at an expo, like we met at EGX and stuff. We'd gone at an expo like that. I'm trying what to say so I don't get anyone into trouble. But the sound recordings for the game, some of them, not all of them, some of them, like the voice recordings, was done sat in a bath in the hotel room with the sheet from the bed over the top of us, making noises into a mic for the sound effects. It was like, oh, the high glamour world of sound design.
not bad. Now you don't have to say the name of the game, but later on you should write me the name of the game.
Oh, I'll let you know. I'll tell you. I'll tell you off camera. But yeah, it was just quite funny, just being sort of like in the bathtub with the blanket over you, and the mic, and it was really weird. And there's a whole expo going on downstairs. And it's like no one has an idea. Like, yeah, we've just been filming the sound effects. It's fine. It's all right. I was just thinking, like with Ale Abbey as well. You were talking earlier. You mentioned something earlier, it stuck in my head. Like, are you open to collaborations and sponsorship with the game, like product placement in it?
Yes, totally. And we are also trying to have like some collaboration with some big beer brands.
Well, I was
So
thinking there's a really famous beer brand in the UK
which one?
that is it's a tonic wine that's brewed by monks in a monastery.
I like the Buckthorn.
Buckfast.
Buckfast, yeah.
It's very popular, well known over here. I don't
But
think
is it good? Because I heard like some people love it, some people hate it. Okay, okay.
I think you have to be in the bleak Scottish Highlands to
To enjoy it.
appreciate it. Yeah. I think as soft city dwellers
But
don't.
you also have a Trappist Abbey in the UK, Tent Meadow.
Yeah, yeah. There's ten of them.
So
So there's a few that it'd be nice to see pop up in the game as well and help towards.
we tried to contact a few breweries. I tried mostly in Italy and I tried in Estonia. Uh, in Germany, I didn't even try yet, but Germany can be like the brewing world is very old school also in several ways. But like the very small ones, they were excited. Like they contacted me themselves when I
Hmm.
put out like an announcement, but they were so small that it didn't make much sense
Yeah.
to really cooperate. And the bigger ones that would have been interesting, they completely ignore me. So like,
Yeah, you're gonna find that
that's the
sweet spot.
usual.
Gonna find that nice middle brewery.
Yeah.
But no, is there anything I've missed about the game that you want to talk about? Is there anything I should have asked that I haven't?
I think more or less we spoke about everything, and
Right, so
there is a lot to discover in the game. A lot that we are adding, a lot that will come, and a lot that we will probably change and fix. But I think the game is like people are really happy with the game. Like we have like 93% positive reviews. That for me is like I've never seen like something
So
like that. So
the demo, you mentioned the demo a few times. That's no longer available, is it now? The demo.
we only set it available for the events. I think
Yes.
right now at the end of the month there is some event and it's going to be available, and then at the end of May there is another event and we make it available again. So that
But in the meantime, Ale Abbey is available in early access.
in early access for I don't know, like in the pounds, how much is it? Like in euro is like 14.99 euro.
Yeah, I think it's about £10, just
Yeah,
short of £10, I think. But we'll put the link in the description below to the Steam page. So go get the early access, go wishlist it if you're not going to do that. Emiliano, thank you so much, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure,
yes,
and we
yes.
we need to meet up at a free bar sometime soon.
Yes, yeah, like a bit. Are there still events and expos in the UK? I
Yeah,
stopped checking out like some point.
yeah, they're starting to come back. They're coming back a bit now. There was one I was supposed to be going to one on Saturday, but I can't make it now. I'm down in London, but yeah, they're coming back. Like Resda's gone, and Ejects is still there, I think. But I'm
Yeah,
just coming back to the industry as well myself, so I'm still figuring it out.
yeah, yeah. At some point, I will be back in the UK, and at some point, we have to be like I learned a lot about English beer like during these years, and I came to really love English beer. I still have like this thing that I might make fun of the fact that you don't have any foam on top, but I mean I learned to live with it, and I learned to appreciate that. So like that's I'm really I often buy I was called Fullers. I
Yeah,
often buy Fullers. I really like Fullers like the London Pride and
yeah,
the ESB. I find them delicious. And then it's like Samuel Smith. I have like they have like some delicious stout, and so that I'm really like
yeah.
exploring also the UK world of beer.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Sam Smith and Timothy Taylor,
Which
Marsden
ones?
Brewery as well.
Okay.
So
Mm,
their Marsden ones is I think you'd like All Peculiar from Theakston's as well. Marsden's Black
mm.
Sheep. It's kind of it's kind of stoutish, but
Okay.
not quite like a yeah. It's weird, like an ale come stout. It's
Like a porter. Like
yeah,
for
yeah.
example, I really
It's
like
like a bit of a
porter.
port
Like
actually. Yeah, porter's a good
mm,
idea, but yeah, plum port. I had a plum port the other week, was just amazing.
mm.
But yeah, anyway, we're getting
Oh
sidetracked
yeah,
by
yeah.
what
I
we
mean,
don't count.
we could talk about
We
beer
can,
forever. Like
yeah.
so. Like
But yeah, we'll put all the links to everything below in the description. And in the meantime, thank you very much for joining. Bye for
thank
now.
you very much for having me.